I think one of the most powerful moments was the first night of the Capitol occupation. We were all watching the public hearings on TVs in the rotunda, and this woman starts testifying, and she starts singing Amazing Grace. And the room and the rotunda just goes quiet for a few moments at least, and then everyone starts singing along. It was a beautiful moment. It was a moment where you felt the democracy in the Capitol. But there were many attempts to shut down the occupation, but the police didn't obey those orders. They were on our side. And in a way, these Capitol occupations have failed. Democracy has failed. The Senate has passed this egregious bill that attacks workers' rights. The Republicans have proposed a disgusting state budget that cuts so many public services and cuts so many people in the state of Wisconsin. So what are we doing to fight back? First of all, I'm sure that you've heard of the recall efforts. They're on their way. There have been papers turned in for one Republican senator already. We are planning coordinated workplace actions and corporate campaigns against different corporations and the Wisconsin manufacturers and commerce. We are fighting back to claim our future. This is our generation needs to fight back, or else we are going to lose everything. So I and many other youth are choosing careers and making sure that we approach those careers with a social justice lens, and we are very committed to being in this for the long haul. I am pre-med. I plan on working as a primary care physician in a community health care system. We need to solve these systemic problems by being in this movement for 30, 40, 50 years. But we are here, we're using our networks, and we're here for a good 50 years. We need to take back our nation, and we are ready to do it. Thanks.
So maybe, just maybe, we are on the cusp of another great American movement, protest movement from the bottom. And you know, this protest movement, it could be working people and their unions, it could be students, it could be community people, poor people, black people, white people, immigrants, all of us together. And you know, it's going to have to be all of us together, because these moments are heady, they are stirring, they're beautiful, but this time we face a very powerful and determined opposition. Don't mistake this corporate mobilization that we have just begun to talk about this afternoon. They are insistent, they are greedy, they don't care about the future because they're planning to live in Abu Dhabi. Do they have children? I don't think so. Well, so it has to be a big movement, it has to be a strong movement, and maybe we can do it. Wisconsin was a kind of beginning, as was Ohio and Florida, and even now in the House of Representatives, because you know they have overreached. They have treated us as though we are entirely stupid, giving back tax money to corporations 1 month in Wisconsin, and the very next month taking exactly the same amount of money and cutting public services, pensions, and workers. So they've helped to dispel the fog of propaganda that sometimes keeps us quiet. But this great movement that I hope is beginning now is only one of a whole history of protest movements that has made America a better country, a more human country. You know, the right wing keeps talking about the founding fathers. They think the founding fathers are those Virginia planters and New England and New York merchants. They're not my founding fathers. My founding fathers are the artisans and farmers who, yes, joined the Revolutionary Army, but joined the Revolutionary Army to realize a vision of democracy, a vision of government that would be accountable to the people and to ordinary people. They were the beginning. And throughout the 19th century, it was movements of that kind that kept government honest, that kept it out of the total hands, total control of the robber barons, for example. The movements of the abolitionists, black and white, that finally got rid of chattel slavery in this country. The movement of farmers that may have been immediately defeated, but nevertheless did force their agenda into the progressive period. The movement of workers in the 1930s, the armies of workers in the 1930s, who not only walked out of their factories, but then walked back in and occupied them. The civil rights movement, that movement of incredible heroism, of incredible beauty, that forced the entire nation to realize the crime of the way of American apartheid. And then finally, the economic rights struggles of the 1960s and 70s. Well, we've got to do it again. Those movements have been the movements that have forced the rich, that have forced business, that have forced corporations to pay attention to both the needs and the hopes and the dreams of ordinary people, of poor people and working people, of people at the bottom and the margins of the society. And now we're going to begin to create such a movement once more. Well,